Greetings, gods and goddesses in training. Welcome back to the channel. It is Uncle Makara, all relations. Today we're talking all about how to max out your aura. We've heard this a bunch of times. It's become a trend nowadays to speak about AuraMaxxing, but I'm going to give you the Priest edition. This is where the mystic meets mastery. Okay, so let's get started today. Hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you for joining our community and supporting. It's really inspiring to witness that. So let's get started. First of all, you gotta understand your aura is not just a vibe, okay? Your aura is almost like a force field. It's your biospiritual armor. It's basically your energetic fingerprint in the quantum realm. It's also known as a biomagnetic sheath, and this energetic layer surrounds your 3D flesh suit, stretching anywhere from 18 inches to 6 feet. I mean, some people can have an aura the size of a cathedral or the size of an auditorium, for instance. This is more so dependent on your spiritual frequency. So that means the more tuned in, the more tapped in, and the more turned on you are with Source, the wider and wilder your aura radiates. Your aura broadcasts your current state across these 5 dimensions: physical, mental, emotional, energetic, and spiritual. Okay, now you want to understand most people's auras are gunked up. Why? Because there's trauma issues and residue of trauma. There might be thought loops or toxic environments, different entity attachments, or repressed emotion, or you've been just doing a bunch of spiritual junk food, or leading really bad habits, right? That are leaving little holes that pierce through the aura. Now remember, all dis-ease begins as an energetic disturbance. So it shows up in your aura first. So by the time it hits the physical body, the alarm's already been ringing. So some entities aren't even evil, they're just energetic parasites. They feed off of your unresolved loops, they whisper impulses, they hijack your moods, and they nudge you towards choices that generate more of the vibe that they crave. What is the Priest formula? Clear blocked frequencies, clean stagnant vibes, balance the energy flow, boost the luminosity, banish the astral squatters, detox the light body. Now, this isn't very easy to do, and this is why you should probably join our pathworking, okay? We have a mystery school, Primal Sutra MysterySchool.com, where you can learn a lot more of this technology because we teach it a lot greater, okay? We have something called the bolt cutter prayer, which helps you get rid of any satanic bloodlines or different dark energies that are still stuck into your field. So this is very, very powerful, and we have a lot of technology like this for adepts. So just reach out to us and we can help you further. How do you max out your aura like a priest beast? I'm just gonna give you some ideas. Take what you want with a grain of salt. You don't have to use all of these, but I've found it to be very, very useful. The number one thing I would just say right off the bat, and all of the adepts know this, is, you guessed it, sea salt soap, okay? Celtic salt, sea salt, just salt in general, has been used in banishing, in protection, in energetic protection. It's been used throughout time, and it's been used as a very, very powerful way for you to keep your aura clean. Now, I already have a sea salt soap at home, and so I just basically scrub my body with it daily, and so that just generally helps the upkeep. Even if I am, eating junk food or I'm doing other things, it doesn't really affect it that much, in a sense. Or let's say if somebody's constantly bringing you down with negative comments, there's a way of like almost verbal aikido or a jujitsu that you can do with that allows you to create this like verbal vinyasa, in a sense, okay? Hydrate with charged water, number one. You can charge it with a crystal, you can charge it in sunlight, you can charge it in the moon, you can charge it with a mantra, you can even just infuse it with an intention, or you can draw a sigil on the cup that you're drinking from, or there's so many ways to do this, especially if you're hyper creative, right? If you're hyper creative, you will find all sorts of ways to make this work for you. Smudging using sacred herbs, okay? Mugwort, sage, palo santo, ancestral plant allies, anything that really helps you understand that there's specific herbs that bring you into another altered state of mind. Really like frankincense as well, personally, and I use this kind of body spray as well. Of course, you can invoke your guardians of your aura. many guides that you have already have benefits of aura protection. Basically, you got to know who walks with you, okay? Is it deific? Is it angelic? Is it an elemental being? Okay, just start to understand that there are these energies, these hidden intelligences all around you, okay? All around you. And so whatever you focus on starts to grow. So if you have a negative thought form in your mind that keeps ruminating, you got to understand to break out of that pattern, you got to first of all challenge that thought, right? You can't accept that thought blindly, but choose the accurate beliefs that is actually going to get you the outcomes that you truly prefer. The next thing is wear colors that resonate with that particular chakra point or energy. Mirror the chakra hues that you are very drawn to, right? Today I'm wearing blue, so it's much more of a throat chakra energy, right? I think that it's very valuable when you look good, you feel good, and that already emanates an aura, okay? Because if you dress like a nobody, then people won't pay attention to you, obviously. But if you dress like you stand out just a little bit, right? Not like exaggerated, like pickup artist peacocking style, but a little bit, just to get that energetic substrate of the type of character that you are creating in this physical world. Of course, there's a character you're creating in the metaphysical world. People see you through the avatar in your waking life. Next thing is I like to do a daily aura scan, where you just kind of close your eyes and just notice dent spots or blockages or stuck energy in your body. If you notice that anywhere, notice cold spots, look for different ripples, okay? So very, very simple. We're just doing a quick aura scan. So I notice some tension in my forehead. I'm gonna just, with my breath, relax it, bring it down, more so into my throat. Am I noticing anything in my throat? Not exactly. Go into my shoulder blades. Maybe I'll move a little bit around like this. A lot better. Now I'm moving into my chest. So you see what I'm doing, right? I'm going from the top of my head all the way to the bottom of my feet. And I'm just doing a quick body scan, but it's technically an aura scan. Once you get rid of the inner blockages, the outer blockages start to get less, okay? You start to get rid of obstacles by getting rid of your personal inner obstacles. If your aura feels like a temple, you are aligned. If it feels like a war zone, you gotta command sovereignty, okay? If it feels like a storm, you anchor the eye. You guys get what I mean? So anything that happens, it doesn't matter what happens really on the outside. How is it affecting your inside, right? So just constantly coming back to center again, grounding yourself is gonna be really, really key. So AuraMaxxing isn't really about being pure. It's about being powerfully present and energetically fortified. So you let your presence do the exorcism, in a sense, right? These lower negative beings, they'll start to flinch around you if you start to notice, okay? People with dark entity attachments, they will flinch around you. They'll start to sweat, they'll start to panic. Sometimes you might notice this. Now, the key here is through your intention, you can also help to quickly heal these individuals. Now, I don't want you to heal too many people without their consent, but what you can do is you can take down the atmospheric chaos a little bit by just setting your intention and calling upon your guides. And I sometimes do this to kind of bring the energy down again, right? From that heady, like panicked state or that beta brainwave state that we're leading throughout the day. Instead, I get into almost like a deep theta or an alpha. And I just practice, keeping that presence alive. So whenever my nervous system seems finicky, kind of reactive, I just slowly bring that energy down. Another thing is posture. So think of posture as power broadcasting. Okay, there's something called power posing by Amy Cuddy that raises your testosterone, lowers your cortisol. So you can actually roll your shoulders back, keep your chin neutral, crown slightly lifted. And a really quick thing you can do is imagine you have angel wings. That's an auto correct of your posture. Or you can imagine you have a helium balloon that's attached to your spinal cord. So it's kind of like floating up like this, and that just auto corrects your posture as well. So any kind of visualization like this that just reminds you, like Superman's cape or something like this, you could do. Anything to quickly readjust your posture, because posture really speaks about your character, right? If I talk to you guys like this in this video, it's not as powerful as a open posture, body language. If you guys go to the gym, you'll understand that in certain forms, they already exaggerate that alpha posture, right? It's like chest out, right? Kind of like hips back. That is a very, very common understanding of this. So if you've been going to the gym, you'll notice your posture is slowly starting to change as well. Because of course you have a bigger musculature system, and the biomechanics is going to work better like that. Eye contact, okay? Make sure you look at one eye when you're communicating with people. Don't look at two, because if you look at two eyes, your attention will be diverted like this. It'll be scattered. So look at one single eye as you're communicating with someone. And don't try and look in other areas of their face, right? It's very, I mean, it can be annoying, but I don't like it when people are communicating with me and they're like looking at my chin, or they're like looking somewhere else on my face, right? It's like, it doesn't really help you connect with that individual. Once you really have that eye-to-eye conversation, that's gonna really help you with the AuraMaxxing. Next thing is controlling your micro expressions. Paul Ekman, the guy Cal Lightman in the show lied to me. His son, rest in peace, Cormac, was actually my college dorm mate, okay? So micro expressions, okay? Feel your vibe through people's little, so micro expression would be like this, right? It's just a little shock. And if you can pick it up, you understand that that's shock. Or like a, right? It's very subtle. So this is why you have to catch people's body language, their gestures, right? If they're touching their face too much, they're hiding something, right? So these kinds of little body language cues really help you understand aura. Now, of course, you want it to be as natural as possible, right? So who do I need to be my most loving, wisest, and best self? Just make that a question, and then you'll understand that, okay, there's certain things that I do that magnetize me towards my best self. Next thing I would say is smells, man. Smell like a temple, smell good. You know, I use this particular scent that helps me tap into the state, and I've primed it, I've actually anchored it using certain different states of mind, different comic books I've read, or cartoons I've watched perhaps, or movies that I've really been entertained by, and using those thematics, those schemas, right, through all of the five senses. So what can I see, what can I hear, right? If you have a theme of your life, like my theme of my life is flow state, flow. So that means, am I seeing flow? Am I hearing flow? Am I touching flow? Am I tasting flow? Okay, this is really, really key to understand, and do this with your own spiritual theme. Like, let's say Ryan's vision of abundance, he'd say, am I hearing abundance? Am I seeing abundance? Am I touching abundance? Okay, that would be his way of doing this. So this is really, really key, guys, okay? Going back into the five senses and asking how this relates to the theme, the spiritual theme of your life, in a sense. The jaw and the hips are like energetic choke points. So tension here cuts off actually our spiritual current. But if you keep your tongue relaxed, like at the roof of your mouth, and you keep your jaw very relaxed and unclenched, this is why I tell people with repressed rage to put ice cubes here, or to like massage along their jaws, because it's very, very powerful, okay, in order to get that blood flow and actually drain that, you know, the lymph nodes and so forth too. So loosen them, stretch them, you know, do some yoga, okay? Yoga is incredible, especially like Kundalini yoga or Kriya yoga, that brings your energy up into your physical body. And I've noticed that whenever I practice yoga, there seems to be this naturalness of a magnetism, an electromagnetism that's happening, right? Which is auric in its nature. So I think doing any kind of stretching or yoga, like today I'd stretched my body after a long time and I heard these clicks and pops, and I was like, dang, I really need to start the Vajra Dragon yoga, the charisma yoga that we practice again, and start on that process again, because I need to be the living embodiment of flow state, right? Of course, find a spiritual code word or a mantra that you know. Let's take a very simple one like Shivoham, which means basically I am Shiva. Carrying it, right? The name of holy beings, specific mantras like this can really help you raise your frequency when it's lowering or it's dipping, okay? You'll notice quite the opposite happens when you start working with these darker beings, okay? And I've worked with both dark and light beings, and I understand the differences, at least how it affects me in my spiritual path and my physical body, okay? I understand that. Cut the trash dopamine music and start listening to things that are a little bit uncommon, like soulful drums or world music, a soulful cinematic soundscape. These types of thing, or classical music, which fires off the brain synapses, right? So these more uncommon approaches to music, you can still listen to the pop here and there. I don't find it too jarring. But what I will tell you is I need to balance myself out with like some Orthodox Byzantine chanting or something like this, or some, Tibetan throat singing. I always need like something to balance out the, big man blastos, okay? That energy. So you can also try asking yourself different ask-formations. Why am I untouchable in truth? Why does my field fortify with divinity? Why is my aura always at its maximum? This reinforces a success. It implies that you're already there, right? And this is what Neville Goddard calls the living as the wish fulfilled. So if you really embody living at the wish fulfilled, you will be in that energy of celebrating what your outcome is, like what you want to accomplish. You're already celebrating it, right? You've celebrated it in a sense, and you feel that in your physical body. A lot of shamans use feathers, I just like to use my fingers too. You can use your hands for this, but just a general brushing of the aura. I haven't done this in a while, but it's a really good idea to do this. I have a video on this channel, by the way, that really helps your aura boost. So just type in aura on this channel, and there's an aura boosting exercise that you can try. Doing it monthly is really, really good as well. Of course, wearing charged jewelry, I think that's another one. Invoking higher renditions of your name or how your name is connected through different etymologies. Waiting 3 seconds before responding in conversation, like taking a pause. Breathe deep into your lower belly as you're having a conversation with someone, so the diaphragm is quite open and flowing. So this is interesting, etheric pheromones, right? Imagining that your aura is leaving a trail behind you as you're walking. They're kind of like astral breadcrumbs. So only the aligned ones towards that frequency will be drawn to that. So that's just kind of used to being that kind of irresistible vibration, okay? Walking archetypes, sometimes it's a good idea to visualize that you are a specific deity. Like if I was Hermes walking in the park, that walk in the park would be a very different experience to me as a trickster deity of speed and communication, and that's going to be a way different energy than if I choose, let's say, Vajrapani or something like this, or Hanuman. So depending on the different beings that you choose, you can always use them as you're just walking around, right? Another thing I like to do is looking at myself in the mirror while I'm dancing. This is basically, I'm letting my aura charge and pulse with the rhythm of the music. So it's kind of an initiation. You're basically commanding your reflection, okay? You're commanding the reflection in the mirror. So yeah, you can ask yourself daily, like, where am I leaking my energy? Am I shape-shifting to survive? Or am I transmitting to transform? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got lots of value from it. Share this with a friend. Let's get it today. Upward Spiral Gang. May we never be the same again. I'll see you soon, us. Let's win. I'll see you at the top. We're all gonna make it.